A Werewolf Shifter Romance, written by Amelia Hart. Chapter 1. When Lightning Strikes. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead as Maya Carter swept the last kennel, the harsh buzzing sound echoing through the nearly empty riverside animal shelter. At 24, she had grown accustomed to working alone during the night shift. But tonight felt different. Tonight was her final shift before the city council's budget cuts would close this place forever. She paused, leaning against the mop handle as memories flooded back. 16 years had passed since she'd lost her parents in that terrible accident when she was only 8 years old. The official report called it a laboratory explosion. Something about a pharmaceutical company's research facility going up in flames. Her adoptive parents, the Carters, had been kind enough, but they'd never quite understood Maya's unusual connection to injured animals. Even now, she could feel that strange pull whenever a creature was in pain. It wasn't something she could explain to anyone, especially not the skeptical city officials who saw the shelter as nothing more than a budget line item to eliminate. Thunder crashed outside, rattling the windows of the old building. Maya glanced at the clock. 2:47 a.m. She still had hours of cleaning and paperwork before her shift ended. But at least after tonight, she wouldn't have to worry about finding another job. The irony wasn't lost on her that she was losing the one place where she felt truly useful. As she moved to the supply closet, Maya noticed the small cardboard box tucked behind the cleaning supplies, the one containing her parents' belongings that her adoptive family had saved. She'd carried it with her through 3 different apartments and 2 jobs, but had never found the courage to open it. Something about those memories felt too raw, even after all these years. Lightning illuminated the parking lot outside, followed immediately by another crack of thunder. The storm was directly overhead now, and Maya could hear the rain starting to pelt the roof. She made a mental note to check the leak in Kennel 7 before she left. That's when she heard it, a low, pained whine coming from outside. Maya set down her mop and moved toward the front window. Through the sheets of rain, she could barely make out a dark shape near the dumpster. At first, she thought it might be a stray dog seeking shelter, but as lightning flashed again, she realized the creature was far too large. Her heart hammered as she grabbed a flashlight and headed for the door. Every rational part of her mind screamed that going outside during a thunderstorm to investigate an unknown animal was dangerous, but that familiar pull was stronger than her fear. The moment she stepped into the storm, rain soaked through her scrubs. She aimed the flashlight toward the dumpster and gasped. Lying motionless in the mud was the largest wolf she'd ever seen, easily twice the size of any wolf she'd studied in veterinary textbooks. Its dark fur was matted with blood, and she could see deep gashes along its flank. But it was the wolf's eyes that stopped her cold. They were open, but unseeing, cloudy with what looked like recent blindness. Yet there was something almost human in the way the creature's head turned toward her voice when she whispered, "Hey there, it's okay." Maya knew she should call animal control, or at the very least, stay away from an injured wild animal. But as she crouched beside the wolf, that inexplicable connection she'd always felt with hurt creatures intensified tenfold. This animal needed her help, and with the shelter closing, this might be her last chance to save a life here. "You're not a normal wolf, are you?" she murmured, noting how the creature seemed to understand her words. Its breathing was labored but steady, and despite its size and wild nature, it made no attempt to snap at her when she carefully examined its wounds. The wolf was too heavy for her to carry, but Maya managed to coax it to its feet with gentle words and patient guidance. Step by careful step, she led the blind animal inside the shelter, her clothes dripping puddles across the clean floor she'd just mopped. She settled the wolf in the largest kennel, the one usually reserved for Great Danes. As she gathered supplies to clean its wounds, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that this storm had brought her something far more significant than just another rescue animal. The wolf watched her with those strange, cloudy eyes, and she could swear she saw intelligence there, the kind of awareness that went far beyond simple animal instinct. When she spoke to it, describing what she was doing as she cleaned each wound, the creature seemed to hang on every word. "I don't know what happened to you," Maya said softly, applying antiseptic to a particularly deep cut. "But you're safe now. I won't let anyone hurt you." The wolf made a low rumbling sound that wasn't quite a growl, more like acknowledgement. Maya had worked with hundreds of animals over the years, but she'd never encountered anything quite like this. The creature was wild, dangerous, and clearly not domestic. Yet it trusted her completely. As dawn approached and her shift neared its end, Maya made a decision that would change everything. The shelter was closing, which meant this wolf would likely be transferred to a facility that might not understand its unique needs. She couldn't let that happen. She gathered her personal belongings, including that unopened box of her parents' things, and made arrangements to stay. The building would be empty for at least a week before the city decided what to do with it. That would give her time to help the wolf recover and figure out where it truly belonged. Outside, the storm was finally beginning to pass, but Maya sensed that her life had been forever altered by what the lightning had brought to her door. Chapter 2. The Impossible Truth. Maya woke to the sound of movement in the kennel area. After spending 3 days caring for the mysterious wolf, she had grown accustomed to sleeping on the old couch in the break room, but something felt different this morning. The usual soft patting of paws was replaced by something else entirely. She grabbed her flashlight and padded barefoot toward the kennels, her heart racing. The large kennel where she'd been housing the wolf stood open, its door somehow unlatched from the inside. But that was impossible. The latch required opposable thumbs to operate. "Where did you go?" Maya whispered, scanning the shadows with her flashlight beam. The wolf had been healing remarkably fast over the past few days, his wounds closing at a rate that defied everything she knew about animal recovery. His blindness, however, had remained constant, those cloudy eyes never showing any sign of improvement. A low groan echoed from behind the supply shelves, distinctly human in nature. Maya's blood turned to ice. Someone had broken into the shelter. She reached for her phone to call the police, but froze when she heard a familiar rumbling sound. The same acknowledgement noise the wolf had made whenever she spoke to him. "Impossible," she breathed, moving toward the sound despite every instinct screaming at her to run. What she found defied all logic and reason. Curled behind the supply shelves, naked and shivering, was a man. Not just any man, but someone who radiated power even in his vulnerable state. His dark hair was matted, and angry red scars covered his muscular torso, scars that perfectly matched the wounds she had been treating on the wolf. Most striking of all were his eyes, cloudy and unseeing, identical to the wolf's blind gaze. "You," Maya gasped, taking an involuntary step backward. The man's head snapped toward her voice with inhuman precision. Despite his blindness, he seemed to track her movement perfectly, his nostrils flaring as if he were scenting the air. "Where am I?" His voice was deep, commanding, carrying an authority that made Maya's knees weak. Even confused and injured, he spoke like someone accustomed to immediate obedience. "The Riverside Animal Shelter," Maya managed, her voice barely a whisper. You were... She couldn't finish the sentence. It was too insane to speak aloud. The man attempted to stand, moving with surprising grace despite his blindness. Maya found herself stepping forward to steady him before her rational mind could stop her. The moment her skin touched his, she felt an electric shock that had nothing to do with static electricity. He jerked away from her touch as if burned. "Don't," he commanded, and something in his tone made Maya freeze instantly. It wasn't just the authority in his voice. It was as if the word carried supernatural weight, compelling her to obey against her will. For a moment, Maya found herself unable to move, unable to think beyond the overwhelming urge to do exactly as he said. Then, like breaking through the surface of deep water, she gasped and shook her head, the compulsion shattering. The man's expression shifted to one of complete shock. "That's not possible." "What's not possible?" Maya demanded, finding her voice and her courage. "The fact that you're apparently a werewolf? Or the fact that I just told you no?" A muscle in his jaw tightened. "Both." Maya grabbed a lab coat from a nearby hook and thrust it toward him. "Put this on. Then you're going to explain what the hell is happening here, because I've spent 3 days nursing a wolf back to health, and now that wolf is apparently a naked man in my shelter." He fumbled for the coat, his movements careful but frustrated. Maya realized he must hate needing help with something so simple. When he spoke again, his voice was quieter, less commanding. "You shouldn't have been able to resist the voice. Humans can't. He stopped abruptly, as if he'd revealed too much. The voice? Maya crossed her arms, studying his face. There was something aristocratic about his features, a bearing that suggested privilege and power. Is that what you just did to me? Some kind of mind control? His silence was answer enough. Look, I don't know what you are or where you came from, but you were dying when I found you. I saved your life, so the least you can do is give me some answers. The man, she still didn't even know his name, turned his head toward her with unsettling accuracy. You don't understand the danger you're in. Just being near me puts you at risk. From who? From me, he said simply. And from the people hunting me. Maya felt a chill that had nothing to do with the morning air. Someone's hunting you? Before he could answer, his entire body tensed, his head tilting like he was listening to something she couldn't hear. His nostrils flared again, and she saw his hands clench into fists. They're coming, he whispered urgently. You need to run, now. Who's coming? I'm not leaving you here blind and injured. I said run. The command hit her like a physical blow, and this time the compulsion was stronger, more desperate. Maya found herself turning toward the exit before she managed to break free again. She spun back to face him, anger flaring. Stop doing that. His expression was a mixture of amazement and fear. How are you resisting? No human should be able to... He cut himself off again, frustration clear in every line of his body. In the distance, Maya heard the sound of vehicles approaching. Her stomach dropped as she realized this mysterious man might not be paranoid after all. The back exit, she said quickly, making a decision that probably qualified as the most reckless of her life. I know a way out. Why would you help me? Maya looked at him, really looked at him. Beneath the commanding presence and supernatural abilities, she saw something that reminded her of every injured animal she'd ever rescued. Someone who had been hurt, who was afraid, who needed her help whether he wanted to admit it or not. Because 3 days ago, I promised a dying wolf that I wouldn't let anyone hurt him. I don't break my promises. For the first time since his transformation, the man's rigid expression softened slightly. Rex, he said quietly. What? My name is Rex. The sound of car doors slamming echoed from the front parking lot. Maya grabbed Rex's arm, noting how he flinched at the contact, and guided him toward the rear of the building. Well, Rex, I hope you can run, because I have a feeling our problems are just getting started. As they fled through the back door into the growing daylight, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that saving the wolf 3 days ago had been the easy part. Now she was harboring a man who could control minds, claimed to be hunted, and had somehow made her feel more alive in 10 minutes than she had in years. Whatever Rex was running from, she was now part of it whether she liked it or not. Chapter 3. Sanctuary in Shadows. The abandoned veterinary clinic on the outskirts of town had been Maya's backup plan for exactly this kind of situation. Not that she'd ever imagined harboring a mysterious shapeshifter from unknown pursuers. The building had been empty for 2 years, but the previous owner had left most of the medical equipment behind when the bank foreclosed. Rex sat stiffly on the examination table, his unseeing eyes tracking every sound Maya made as she gathered supplies. Even in the oversized lab coat, he commanded attention. There was something about the way he held himself, straight-backed and alert, that spoke of authority and power barely held in check. Those wounds are healing impossibly fast, Maya observed, cleaning a gash that had been deep and angry just hours ago. Now it was barely more than a pink line across his ribs. This morning they looked like they needed stitches. Now they're almost gone. Shifter healing, Rex said simply, as if that explained everything. Though yours is faster than it should be. Maya paused, antiseptic-soaked gauze halfway to his shoulder. Mine? Your touch accelerates the process. I don't understand how, but every time you've treated my wounds, they've healed significantly faster than normal. She stared at him, remembering all the animals she'd helped over the years, how they always seemed to recover quicker under her care than anyone expected. The other staff at the shelter had joked about her magic touch, but Maya had always attributed it to careful attention and proper technique. That's impossible. I'm just... human. Rex finished. Yes, so you keep saying. But humans don't resist the voice. They don't accelerate shifter healing. And they certainly don't, he trailed off, seeming to catch himself before revealing something else. Don't what? Rex's jaw tightened. It doesn't matter. Maya set down her supplies and faced him fully. Look, 3 days ago, my biggest problem was a budget crisis closing the shelter. Now I'm hiding in an abandoned building with someone who turns into a wolf and claims people are hunting him. I think I deserve some answers about what's happening to me. For a long moment, Rex was silent. When he finally spoke, his voice was quieter, less commanding than before. The people hunting me aren't just anyone. They're scientists who experiment on our kind. They've developed weapons specifically designed to hurt us, to prevent our natural healing. He gestured to his eyes. This blindness isn't natural. They did this to me when I was defending my pack. Maya's breath caught. Pack. My people. My responsibility. Pain flickered across his features. I should be protecting them right now. But instead I'm hiding like a coward. You're not a coward. You were nearly dead when I found you. Even supernatural healing has limits, right? Rex turned his head toward her with that uncanny precision, despite his blindness. You say that like you actually believe what I am. 3 days ago, I would have committed you to a psychiatric facility. But I've seen you transform. I've seen how you heal. And I felt whatever that mind control thing was. Either I'm having the world's most elaborate hallucination, or shapeshifters are real. Maya resumed cleaning his wounds, noting how he tensed whenever she touched him. What I don't understand is why you're so surprised that I can resist your voice thing, because it shouldn't be possible. The voice is a manifestation of alpha authority. It compels obedience from everyone, other shifters, humans, even animals. The fact that you can break free from it, he shook his head. I've never encountered anything like it. Alpha, Maya repeated. Like the leader of your pack? Rex's expression became guarded. Something like that. Maya sensed there was more to it than he was letting on, but before she could press further, a sound from outside made them both freeze. A car was pulling into the clinic's parking lot. Rex's entire body went rigid, his nostrils flaring. That's not them, he said after a moment, his voice filled with a different kind of tension. But it's someone I know. Through the dusty window, Maya watched a tall man in dark clothing exit a black SUV. He moved with predatory grace, scanning the area with obvious military training. When his gaze landed on the clinic window, Maya instinctively stepped back. Rex? The man called out, his voice carrying easily across the distance. I know you're in there. Your scent trail led straight here. Rex muttered what sounded like a curse in another language. Cole, he said to Maya. My second in command. Is that good or bad? Complicated. The man, Cole, approached the clinic entrance. I'm coming in. The human with you better not try anything stupid. Maya bristled at being called the human, but Rex placed a restraining hand on her arm. The touch sent that same electric shock through her system, and she noticed he flinched as if he'd felt it too. Cole entered the clinic with the confidence of someone accustomed to being the most dangerous person in the room. He was roughly Rex's age, with sharp features and eyes that missed nothing. His gaze immediately locked onto Maya with obvious suspicion. You've got to be kidding me, Cole said, his voice flat. An alpha king, reduced to hiding with a human in an abandoned clinic. Maya's world tilted. Alpha king? Rex's silence was damning. You didn't tell her. Cole's tone was incredulous. She's been caring for the most powerful shifter in the Northern Territories and doesn't even know what you are? Cole. Rex's voice carried a warning that made the temperature in the room seem to drop several degrees. No, this is insane. Do you have any idea what's happening while you've been playing house with your pet human? The council is in chaos. Half the alphas think you're dead, and the other half are planning to divide your territory among themselves. Maya looked between the two men, trying to process what she was hearing. Alpha King, she repeated slowly. As in, you rule over other... What did you call them? Alphas? He rules over all of us, Cole said, his frustration evident. Or he's supposed to, when he's not hiding from his responsibilities. Rex's hands clenched into fists. I'm not hiding. I'm healing from injuries that should have killed me. Injuries that are healing remarkably fast thanks to your new... friend. Cole's gaze on Maya was calculating now. What exactly are you, human, because normal humans don't accelerate shifter healing. They don't resist the voice, and they certainly don't. He stopped, glancing at Rex. Don't what? Maya demanded, tired of being the only one in the dark. Cole looked at Rex expectantly. When Rex remained silent, Cole shook his head. She doesn't know, does she? About the bond? What bond? Maya's voice was rising with frustration, and something that might have been panic. Rex finally spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. Mate bond. The words hit Maya like a physical blow. What does that mean? It means, Cole said when Rex remained silent, that our king has found his fated mate, and she's human. His tone suggested this was about as likely as finding a unicorn. Maya sank into a nearby chair, her mind reeling. Fated mate. The electric shocks when they touched. The way she felt drawn to help him, to protect him. The strange abilities she was apparently manifesting. That's impossible, she said weakly. That's what I said. Rex muttered. Cole was watching them both with growing amazement. This explains everything. Why you've been unconscious for days. Why the healing is accelerated. Why she can resist the voice. The mate bond is trying to establish itself. Maya looked up at Rex, who was carefully avoiding facing her direction. Is that why you flinch every time I touch you? His silence was answer enough. Unbelievable, Cole continued. The Alpha King finds his fated mate, and she's the one human who can save him from Helena Voss. Maya's blood went cold. Who is Helena Voss? Cole and Rex exchanged a look that somehow conveyed volumes despite Rex's blindness. The woman who blinded him, Cole said grimly. And the woman who's been hunting shifters for experimental purposes. If she finds out about you, about what you can do, he didn't need to finish the sentence. Maya understood that her life had just become infinitely more complicated and dangerous. But as she looked at Rex, sitting rigid with pain and pride warring across his features, she realized she didn't care about the danger. For the first time in 16 years, she felt like she belonged somewhere, with someone, even if that someone happened to be a blind shapeshifter king with a target on his back. Chapter 4. Dangerous Desires. The revelation about the mate bond hung in the air like a loaded weapon. Maya had spent the last 2 hours pacing the small clinic, while Rex and Cole discussed pack politics in low, urgent tones. Every few minutes, she caught one of them glancing in her direction, as if she were a puzzle they couldn't solve. Stop looking at me like I'm some kind of science experiment, Maya finally snapped, her patience exhausted. Cole raised an eyebrow. Technically you are. No human has ever been mated to an alpha, let alone an alpha king. You're unprecedented. Wonderful. I've always wanted to be a medical anomaly. Rex's mouth twitched in what might have been amusement, the first hint of humor he'd shown since Cole's arrival. The small expression sent an unexpected flutter through Maya's chest, which only annoyed her more. We need to move, Cole said, his tone serious again. I've confirmed that Helena Voss has teams searching every abandoned building in a 50-mile radius. They know you're injured, and they know someone is helping you. How could they know that? Maya asked. Because shifter healing leaves traces, Rex explained, his voice carefully neutral. Accelerated cellular repair creates specific biological markers. If they test blood samples from where I was found, they'll know I helped you heal faster than you should have. Maya felt a chill of real fear. What happens if they find me? Cole and Rex exchanged another look. Tell her, Rex said quietly. Helena Voss has been experimenting on shifters for years. Cole began, trying to replicate our abilities, to weaponize them. If she discovers a human who can enhance shifter healing, who can resist alpha commands. He didn't finish, but Maya understood. I'd become her next test subject, or her most valuable asset, depending on how you look at it, Cole said grimly. Rex's hands clenched. That's not going to happen. The protectiveness in his voice sent another flutter through Maya's chest, followed immediately by frustration at her own reaction. She barely knew this man, supernatural bond or not. We need to get to Safe House 7, Cole continued. It's remote, defensible, and stocked for extended stays. No. Rex's voice was firm. Maya stays here. This doesn't concern her. Maya stared at him in disbelief. Doesn't concern me? 5 minutes ago you were talking about mate bonds and experimental scientists who want to dissect me. How exactly does this not concern me? Because I won't be responsible for putting you in more danger than you're already in. The protectiveness was admirable, but Maya had spent 16 years taking care of herself. That's not your decision to make. Rex turned toward her with that uncanny precision, his cloudy eyes somehow finding hers despite his blindness. You don't understand what you're getting involved in. The shifter world is violent, dangerous. You could get killed. I could get killed staying here too, apparently. Maya crossed her arms. At least with you, I have some chance of understanding what's happening to me. She's right, Cole interjected. Helena's people will find this place eventually. Maya's safer with us than alone. Rex's jaw tightened, but he didn't argue further. As they prepared to leave, Maya found herself studying Rex more carefully. Despite his blindness, he moved through the space with increasing confidence, mapping the layout through sound and scent. There was something hypnotic about watching him, the way his body flowed with predatory grace even when he was simply gathering supplies. You're staring, he said without looking in her direction. Maya flushed. How could you possibly know that? I can hear your heartbeat. It changes when you're looking at me. The casual intimacy of the statement sent heat flooding through Maya's system. She was grateful he couldn't see her reaction, though from his slight smile, she suspected he could hear that too. We should go, Cole said, shouldering a pack of medical supplies. I'll drive. Maya, you'll need to guide Rex. He's still adjusting to the visual impairment. I can manage on my own, Rex said stiffly. No, you can't, Maya replied before Cole could respond. And there's no shame in accepting help. Rex's expression softened slightly at her matter-of-fact tone. You don't coddle me. Why would I? You're not broken, just temporarily disadvantaged. Something shifted in Rex's posture, a relaxation she hadn't seen before. When she offered her arm to guide him to the vehicle, he hesitated only a moment before accepting. The contact sent that familiar electric shock through both of them, stronger this time. Rex's breath caught, and Maya felt an answering flutter in her own chest. What is that? She whispered. The bond, Rex said quietly. It's getting stronger. Cole cleared his throat. Not to interrupt this touching moment, but we really need to move. Helena's people could be here any minute. As they settled into Cole's SUV, Maya found herself in the back seat next to Rex. The confined space made the attraction between them impossible to ignore. Every accidental brush of their hands, every shared breath, sent sparks of awareness through her system. So, Maya said, desperate for distraction. Cole mentioned Helena Voss is the one who blinded you. What exactly happened? Rex was quiet for so long that Maya thought he wouldn't answer. When he finally spoke, his voice was tight with controlled emotion. She attacked during a pack celebration, used some kind of gas weapon that specifically targeted shifter physiology. By the time we realized what was happening, half my people were unconscious. His hands clenched. I tried to get them out, but she had some kind of energy weapon, hit me directly in the eyes. Maya's heart ached at the pain in his voice. Without thinking, she reached over and covered his hand with hers. The electric shock was immediate and intense, but this time neither of them pulled away. I'm sorry, she said softly. Rex turned his hand palm up, threading their fingers together. The worst part is that I failed them. People died because I couldn't protect them. That wasn't your fault. I'm their king. Their protection is literally my job. Maya studied his profile, seeing the weight of responsibility he carried. How many people are in your pack? It's not just one pack, Cole said from the front seat. Rex rules over all the shifter territories in the northern region. We're talking about thousands of people across dozens of packs. Maya's eyes widened. She'd been thinking small scale, maybe 50 or 100 people. The reality was overwhelming. That's a lot of responsibility, which is why I need to get back, Rex said. Even if I can't see, I can still lead. I can still protect them. Not if you're dead, Maya pointed out. And not if Helena captures you and uses your blood for whatever experiments she's running. Rex's thumb traced across her knuckles, sending shivers up her arm. You don't understand. These people have served my family for generations. They deserve better than a blind king hiding in abandoned buildings. They deserve a king who's alive and thinking strategically, Not one who's dead because he rushed into a situation he couldn't handle. Cole chuckled from the driver's seat. I like her. Rex's mouth curved in a reluctant smile. She's persistent. I prefer practical, Maya said. Someone has to balance out your martyr complex. The smile became more genuine. Martyr complex? You heard me. For a moment, the tension in the vehicle eased. Maya found herself relaxing against the seat, their joined hands resting between them. Despite the danger, despite the impossibility of their situation, this felt right in a way she couldn't explain. Maya, Rex said quietly, his voice serious again. What I told you about the mate bond, it doesn't mean you're obligated to anything. The choice is still yours. Maya looked at their intertwined fingers, feeling the steady pulse of electricity between them. What if I don't want a choice? What if I want to see where this leads? Rex's breath caught. It's dangerous. My world, my enemies, will become my enemies too, apparently. Maya squeezed his hand. I'd rather face them with you than hide from them alone. In the rearview mirror, Maya caught Cole's amazed expression. Apparently, Alpha Kings weren't accustomed to having their authority questioned or their protection refused. But as Rex's fingers tightened around hers, Maya realized she was past the point of caring about normal protocol. Whatever was happening between them, whatever this bond meant, she was committed to seeing it through, even if it killed her. Chapter 5. Shattered Revelations. The safe house was nothing like Maya had expected. Instead of a rustic cabin, Cole led them to a modern compound hidden deep in the forest, complete with security systems and reinforced walls. As they settled into the main living area, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that she was living in someone else's life. Rex moved through the space with increasing confidence, his enhanced hearing allowing him to map the layout quickly. Maya watched him, marveling at how he adapted, how he refused to let his blindness define his limitations. I need to check the perimeter, Cole announced. Maya, there's something you should know about Rex. Cole. Rex's voice carried a warning that made the air itself seem to vibrate. She deserves to know the truth about what she's gotten involved with. Maya looked between them, that familiar frustration rising. What truth? What aren't you telling me? Cole glanced at Rex, who had gone rigid with tension. Rex isn't just any Alpha King. He's the most powerful shifter leader in North America. His territory spans 5 states, and his bloodline goes back over 3 centuries. Cole, stop. She needs to understand the stakes, Cole continued relentlessly. Rex's father died protecting their people from a coordinated attack. Rex was barely 25 when he inherited the crown. He's been fighting to unite the territories ever since, trying to create a world where shifters can live openly without fear. Maya felt the weight of this revelation settling over her. She'd known Rex was important, but this was beyond anything she'd imagined. Why didn't you tell me? She asked Rex quietly. Rex turned toward her, his expression pained. Because I wanted you to see me as just a man, not a title. You are just a man. A man with responsibilities, but still just a man. Something in Rex's posture relaxed at her words. But before he could respond, Cole's phone buzzed. His expression darkened as he read the message. We have a problem. My contacts say Helena's teams have been asking questions about you, Maya. They know your name. Maya's blood ran cold. How is that possible? Someone at the shelter must have talked. They're not just looking for Rex anymore. They're specifically hunting you. Rex was on his feet instantly, his protective instincts flaring. We need to move her. Now. Where? Cole asked. Helena has resources everywhere. Government connections, military contracts. There's nowhere we can hide her that she won't eventually find. Maya felt the walls closing in around her. Her simple life working at the animal shelter felt like it belonged to someone else. A memory from years ago instead of days. There's something else, Cole continued grimly. They found the shelter. It's been completely destroyed, burned to the ground. Maya's legs gave out, and she sank into the nearest chair. The shelter had been her sanctuary, the one place she'd felt truly useful. Now it was gone, along with any traces of her old life. I'm sorry, Rex said softly, somehow finding his way to her side despite his blindness. His hand settled on her shoulder, and the familiar electric current provided unexpected comfort. 16 years, Maya whispered. I've been running from something my whole life without even knowing it. Rex knelt beside her chair, his hand moving to cover hers. What do you mean? Maya realized she'd never told him the complete truth about her past. The words tumbled out before she could stop them. My parents died when I was 8. Everyone said it was an accident, a laboratory explosion at a pharmaceutical company. But now I'm wondering if it was really an accident at all. Cole's attention sharpened. What kind of laboratory? Medical research. My adoptive parents never talked about it much, but I remember there being boxes of my parents' belongings. Documents, research notes. Maya's eyes widened as the implications hit her. Oh, God. What if my parents were involved in the same kind of research Helena is doing now? Rex's hand tightened on hers. Maya, what if they were experimenting on shifters? What if that's why I can do these things, resist your voice, heal you faster? Maya felt panic rising in her chest. What if I'm not some miraculous mate bond, but just the result of experimentation? Hey, Rex's voice was gentle but firm. Look at me. Maya met his cloudy gaze, finding unexpected comfort in his sightless eyes. Whatever you are, whatever created your abilities, it doesn't change what I feel when I'm with you. The mate bond isn't about convenience or usefulness. It's about connection, completion. You make me feel human again. Before Maya could respond, a new sound cut through the night. Vehicles approaching at high speed. Cole was at the window instantly, his expression grim. 3 SUVs, military grade. They found us. Rex was on his feet, every muscle tense. How many? At least 12, maybe more. They're surrounding the compound. Maya felt terror and determination warring in her chest. What do we do? You run, Rex said firmly. Cole, get her out through the back tunnel. I'll hold them off. Absolutely not, Maya snapped. I'm not leaving you to face them alone and blind. Maya, this is not a debate. You're right, it's not. Maya stood, surprising herself with her own resolve. Because I'm staying, and you can't make me leave. Rex turned toward her, frustration and admiration warring on his features. You don't understand what you're risking. I understand perfectly. Helena wants both of us. If we split up, we're just making it easier for her. A loudspeaker crackled to life outside. Rex Stone, we know you're in there. Send out the human, and we'll make this easy for everyone. Cole cursed under his breath. They definitely know about Maya. Which means they've been planning this for longer than we thought, Rex said grimly. Maya moved to the window, peering through the reinforced glass. The vehicles were positioned strategically, cutting off all obvious escape routes. Armed figures in tactical gear were taking positions around the compound. There, she pointed. The woman in the white coat by the center vehicle. That has to be Helena. Rex's entire body went rigid. Describe her. Tall, blonde, maybe 50 years old. She's holding some kind of tablet device. That's her. Rex's voice was filled with cold fury. She's probably using that tablet to monitor our heat signatures, track our movements. Another announcement echoed across the compound. You have 5 minutes to surrender. After that, we come in shooting. Maya felt her resolve solidifying. She'd spent her entire adult life caring for creatures that couldn't protect themselves. Now she was faced with someone who'd spent years torturing and experimenting on an entire species. Cole, she said quietly, do you have any weapons in this place? Maya, no, Rex said immediately. Maya, yes, she replied firmly. Helena killed my parents. She blinded you. She's terrorized your people for years. This ends tonight. Rex grabbed her hand, his expression desperate. If something happens to you, then you'll make sure she pays for it, Maya finished. But I'm not running anymore. I'm tired of being afraid of something I don't understand. Cole was watching them with growing amazement. There are weapons in the armory. But Maya, you're talking about going up against military-trained soldiers. No, Maya said, her mind racing. I'm talking about going up against one woman who's been hiding behind soldiers her entire career. If I can get close enough to Helena, your touch accelerates healing, Rex said slowly, understanding dawning on his face. But what if it works in reverse? What if you can disrupt her systems instead of enhancing them? Maya felt a chill of possibility. Only one way to find out. Outside, Helena's voice crackled over the loudspeaker again. Time's up. We're coming in. Maya looked at Rex, memorizing his face in case this was the last time she saw him. Whatever happens, I want you to know that these past few days have been the most alive I've felt since I was 8 years old. Rex pulled her close, his lips finding hers in a kiss that was desperate, claiming and achingly tender all at once. The electric shock of their connection intensified, and Maya felt something fundamental shift between them. When they broke apart, Rex's eyes had cleared slightly, as if the intensity of their bond had temporarily pushed back the damage Helena had done. I can see you, he whispered in amazement. Not clearly, but I can see your outline. Maya smiled through her tears. Then you'll be able to watch me end this. As the sound of breaking glass echoed through the compound, Maya grabbed Cole's spare weapon and prepared to face the woman who had destroyed so many lives. It was time for Helena Voss to learn that some experiments have unexpected consequences. Chapter 6. The Breaking Point. Glass shattered throughout the compound as Helena's soldiers breached the windows simultaneously. Maya pressed herself against the wall beside Rex, her heart hammering as tactical boots thundered across the floor above them. Cole had vanished into the shadows, using passages only he knew to flank their attackers. Stay behind me, Rex whispered, his partially restored vision allowing him to track movement through the doorway. We've been over this, Maya replied, checking the weapon Cole had given her. I'm not hiding anymore. Before Rex could argue, the first soldier appeared in the doorway. Rex moved with inhuman speed despite his visual limitations, taking the man down silently. Maya watched in fascination and terror as Rex's enhanced senses compensated for what his eyes couldn't fully see. Impressive, a cold voice said from the hallway. But then, I always knew you were remarkable, Rex. Helena Voss stepped into view, flanked by 2 heavily armed soldiers. Even in tactical gear, she maintained an air of clinical detachment that made Maya's skin crawl. Helena, Rex's voice was filled with controlled rage. Come to finish what you started? Actually, I came for her. Helena's pale eyes fixed on Maya with the intensity of a scientist examining a particularly interesting specimen. Maya Carter, daughter of Dr. Sarah and Dr. Michael Chen, killed 16 years ago when they tried to destroy my research. Maya's world tilted. Chen, that's not... My name is Carter. Your adoptive name, yes. But your birth parents were my former colleagues. Brilliant scientists who helped me develop the initial serum that enhanced shifter abilities. Helena's smile was cold. They became squeamish when they realized the applications, tried to destroy years of work. Rex stepped protectively in front of Maya, his body coiled to strike. You killed her parents because they had a conscience. I killed them because they were short-sighted, but they left behind something far more valuable than their research notes. Helena's gaze never left Maya. They left behind their daughter, who they'd been secretly testing the enhancement serum on since birth. Maya felt the blood drain from her face. That's impossible. Is it? How else do you explain your abilities? Your resistance to alpha commands, your healing enhancement, your unusual connection to shifter physiology. Helena took a step closer. You're not Rex's fated mate, my dear. You're my greatest creation. She's lying, Rex snarled. But Maya could hear uncertainty in his voice. Helena pulled out a tablet, displaying what looked like medical records. Genetic modification begins in utero. Monthly injections throughout childhood. Your adoptive parents thought they were giving you vitamins. Her smile was triumphant. You're the first successful human shifter hybrid, Maya, and you belong to me. Maya's legs threatened to give out. Every memory of her childhood suddenly felt tainted, suspect. The unusual connection to animals, the instinctive knowledge of how to heal them, the way she'd always felt different from everyone around her. Maya. Rex's voice was gentle but urgent. Look at me. She met his partially cleared gaze, seeing fierce protectiveness there. I don't care how your abilities originated. What I feel for you isn't because of enhancement serums or genetic modification. It's because you chose to save a dying wolf without knowing what he was. Because you face danger for people you barely know. Because you make me want to be better than I am. Helena laughed coldly. How touching, but irrelevant. Maya, step away from him. My soldiers have orders to kill Rex if you don't comply. Red laser sights appeared on Rex's chest as hidden snipers revealed their positions. Maya realized Helena had been planning this confrontation down to the smallest detail. Don't do it. Rex said quietly, whatever she's done to you, whatever you are, you still have a choice. Maya looked between Rex and Helena, her mind racing. The woman who claimed to have created her stood waiting, confident in her victory. But as Maya studied Helena's cold, calculating expression, she realized something important. You're afraid of me, Maya said suddenly. Helena's composure cracked slightly. Don't be ridiculous. No, you are. If I was really just your creation, you wouldn't need all these soldiers. You wouldn't need to threaten Rex to get me to cooperate. Maya stepped away from Rex, but not toward Helena. You're afraid because you don't actually control me. Maya, what are you doing? Rex asked urgently. Testing a theory. Maya looked directly at Helena. If I'm really a hybrid, if you really created me, then I should be able to do more than just heal, right? Helena's eyes narrowed. Carefully, my dear. You don't understand the full extent of your capabilities. Then show me. Maya reached out and touched the nearest soldier's arm. Instead of focusing on healing, she concentrated on disruption, on chaos, on undoing whatever held his enhanced systems together. The soldier convulsed and collapsed, his tactical gear sparking as if hit by an electromagnetic pulse. Helena stepped back, genuine fear flickering across her features. Impossible. The serum wasn't designed for what? For me to fight back? Maya felt power coursing through her system. Wild and dangerous. Maybe my parents built in some safeguards you didn't know about. She reached for the second soldier, but Helena shouted, Stop! You don't understand what you're risking. That level of disruption could kill you. Maybe, but it'll definitely kill you first. Rex moved suddenly, using the distraction to disarm the remaining soldiers. His partially restored vision gave him just enough advantage to turn the tide. But Helena had one more card to play. You want to know the truth about your precious mate bond? She called out as Rex advanced on her. I designed it. The genetic modifications I made to Maya were specifically to create compatibility with powerful shifters. She's drawn to you because I programmed her to be. Maya felt something shatter inside her chest. Everything she'd felt, every connection, every moment of completeness. Had it all been artificial? Maya. Rex's voice was strained. Don't listen to her. Is it true? Maya whispered. Are my feelings for you just programming? Rex was quiet for a long moment, and that silence told Maya everything she needed to know. It doesn't matter, he finally said. What you feel now, what you choose now, that's real. But Maya was past caring about philosophical distinctions. Rage filled her, burning away fear and doubt. Helena had stolen her parents, her childhood, her ability to trust her own emotions. You want to see what your creation can really do? Maya asked Helena, power building in her system like a storm. She reached out, not to touch Helena directly, but to touch the air around her. Maya focused every ounce of her enhanced abilities on disruption, on undoing, on destroying the molecular bonds that held Helena's enhanced systems together. Helena screamed as her own modifications began to turn against her, her body convulsing as the serum she'd injected into herself over the years became poison. Maya, stop! Rex caught her arm. You're burning yourself out. I can feel it through the bond. Maya looked down at her hands, seeing them beginning to crack like broken glass, power bleeding from her system faster than her body could handle. I don't care, she gasped. She has to pay for what she's done. Not at the cost of your life. Rex pulled Maya against him, his arms wrapping around her as she collapsed. The power surge faded, leaving her feeling hollow and brittle. Helena lay motionless on the floor, her breathing shallow but alive. Around them, the compound was silent, except for the sound of Cole securing the remaining soldiers. Is it over? Maya whispered against Rex's chest. For now. Rex's hand stroked her hair. But Maya, what you just did, you could have died. Maya looked up at him, seeing that his vision had cleared further, the mate bond strengthening as her barriers fell away. Would you have grieved for your programmed mate? She asked bitterly. Rex cupped her face in his hands. I would have grieved for the woman who chose to save me, who chose to fight beside me, who chose to risk everything for people she barely knew. Programming doesn't create courage, Maya. It doesn't create love. As sirens wailed in the distance, Cole's backup finally arriving, Maya allowed herself to believe that maybe, just maybe, what she felt was real after all. But Helena's words echoed in her mind, and Maya knew this was far from over. Chapter 7. Claiming the Dawn. 3 days after Helena's capture, Maya sat beside Rex's hospital bed in the secure medical facility Cole had arranged. The aftermath of their confrontation had left both of them drained. Rex from the strain of fighting while vision impaired, and Maya from the dangerous power surge that had nearly killed her. The doctors say your cellular structure is stabilizing, Rex said, his hand finding hers with increasing accuracy. His vision had continued to improve since Helena's defeat, though it remained limited to shadows and basic shapes. Maya studied their intertwined fingers, still processing everything Helena had revealed. Do you think she was telling the truth? About the programming? About my parents experimenting on me? Rex was quiet for a moment, his thumb tracing patterns across her knuckles. Does it matter? Of course it matters. If everything I feel is artificial, Maya, Rex's voice was gentle but firm. I've felt the mate bond with you. I know what it's like when it's real versus when someone is trying to manipulate it. What we have isn't programming. Cole entered the room carrying a thick folder, his expression grim. I've been going through Helena's research files. Maya, you're going to want to hear this. Maya tensed, preparing for another revelation that would shatter her understanding of herself. Your parents weren't experimenting on you, Cole continued. They were trying to protect you. Helena had been using their research to create enhancement serums, but your parents discovered she was planning to test them on children. They modified their own formula and gave it to you as protection. Rex's hand tightened on Maya's. Protection from what? From Helena's true serum. Your parents knew she would eventually come after their daughter, so they gave Maya a version that would make her immune to Helena's control while enhancing her natural empathic abilities. Cole set the folder on the bedside table. They died trying to destroy Helena's research and keep their daughter safe. Maya felt tears burning her eyes. So I really am enhanced, but not the way Helena claimed. You're enhanced with love, Rex said softly. Your parents gave you abilities that would help you protect others, not control them. Before Maya could respond, Cole's radio crackled to life. Sir, we have a situation at the detention facility. Helena Voss has escaped. Rex was on his feet instantly, despite his injuries. How is that possible? She was barely conscious when we left her. Unknown, sir. But she left a message. She's demanding to meet with Maya, alone, or she starts targeting shifter communities across the region. Maya felt ice settle in her stomach. Even captured and defeated, Helena found ways to threaten innocent people. Absolutely not, Rex said immediately. It's obviously a trap. Of course it's a trap, Maya replied, standing despite her weakness. But she's not going to stop until she gets what she wants. And what she wants is me. Rex moved to block her path to the door, his partially restored vision allowing him to track her movements. I won't let you sacrifice yourself. And I won't let innocent people die because she's obsessed with me. Maya placed her hands on Rex's chest, feeling the familiar electric current flow between them. But I have an idea. Cole looked between them warily. I don't like the sound of that. Maya turned to him. Helena thinks she understands my abilities, but she's wrong. She's been focusing on what I can do to enhance or disrupt. But there's something else. Which is, I can share them. When Rex and I are connected, his vision improves. What if that connection works both ways? What if I can channel his strength, his enhanced senses, his alpha abilities? Rex's eyes widened. The mate bond as a conduit. It's theoretically possible, but incredibly dangerous. Cole finished. If something goes wrong, you could both die. If we don't try, Helena will keep killing people until she gets what she wants. Maya looked at Rex, seeing determination replacing his initial resistance. She's expecting me to come alone and vulnerable. She's not expecting me to come with the full power of an alpha king. Rex cupped her face in his hands, his partially cleared gaze meeting hers. If we do this, there's no going back. The bond will be permanent, complete. You'll be tied to me, and my world forever. Maya smiled, feeling certainty settle into her bones. I've been tied to your world since the moment I decided to save a dying wolf in a thunderstorm. Cole cleared his throat, not to interrupt this touching moment. But Helena's message included coordinates. She's waiting at the old pharmaceutical plant where your parents died, Maya. We have 2 hours. Maya felt a chill of recognition. Helena had chosen the location specifically for its psychological impact. Then we'd better get started, Maya said, turning back to Rex. How exactly do we merge our abilities through the mate bond? Rex's expression grew serious. It requires complete trust, complete openness. No mental barriers, no emotional walls. Everything you are, everything I am, shared completely. That sounds terrifying. It is. But Maya, if this works, if we can truly join our strengths, Rex's voice grew rough with emotion. You won't just be my mate, you'll be my equal, my partner in every sense. Maya felt her heart race at the implications. And if it doesn't work, then we die together, which is better than letting you face Helena alone. Cole muttered something under his breath about suicidal alpha kings, but began preparing their equipment. As they prepared to leave, Maya caught Rex's hand. Before we do this, I need you to know something. Whatever my parents did to enhance me, whatever abilities I have, they led me to you. If that's not fate, it's close enough. Rex pulled her close, his lips finding hers in a kiss that was both desperate and reverent. When they broke apart, Maya could see more clearly in his eyes, as if their emotional connection was already strengthening their bond. Ready, he whispered. Maya nodded, feeling power beginning to build between them like a gathering storm. Let's go finish this. As they left the medical facility, Maya realized she was no longer the frightened woman who had found a wounded wolf in a thunderstorm. She was something new, something unprecedented, a bridge between two worlds, enhanced by love and strengthened by choice. Helena was waiting for her final creation, but she was about to discover that Maya Carter had become something far beyond her wildest scientific ambitions. She had become Rex's equal, his partner, his mate, in the truest sense. And together, they were going to end Helena's reign of terror once and for all. The pharmaceutical plant loomed ahead of them in the darkness, its broken windows like dead eyes watching their approach. Maya felt Rex's strength flowing through their connection, his enhanced senses sharpening her awareness of their surroundings. She's here, Rex murmured, his hand steady on Maya's back. Top floor, northwest corner. She's not alone. Maya smiled grimly. Neither are we. As they entered the building where her parents had died trying to protect her, Maya felt their presence like a blessing. They had given her everything she needed to survive this moment. Enhanced abilities, protective love, and the courage to choose her own destiny. Helena Voss was about to learn that some experiments have consequences far beyond what their creators imagine. Chapter 8. New Beginnings. 8 months after Helena's final defeat at the pharmaceutical plant, Maya stood in the main hall of the Northern Territory Council chambers, watching Rex address the assembled alpha leaders. His vision had recovered to about 70%. Not perfect, but more than adequate for leadership. The mate bond had strengthened both of them in ways neither had anticipated. The integration protocols are working better than projected, Rex was saying, his voice carrying the natural authority Maya had fallen in love with. We now have 12 mixed communities where humans and shifters coexist openly, with more requesting to join the program. Maya smiled, remembering how impossible this had seemed when she was just a woman working the night shift at an animal shelter. Now she stood as Luna Queen of the Northern Territories, a title she'd never imagined wanting, but had grown into naturally. Luna Maya's healing centers have revolutionized our approach to medical care, continued Alpha Sarah from the Eastern Pack. The combination of human medicine and shifter healing techniques is saving lives on both sides. Maya stepped forward, her confidence in public speaking having grown exponentially over the past months. We've also identified 17 other individuals with enhancement abilities similar to mine. Not artificially created like Helena attempted, but natural variants, humans with shifter ancestry who retained certain abilities. The Guardian program, Rex added, his pride in Maya evident even in his formal tone. Luna Maya has established training protocols to help these individuals control and utilize their gifts safely. The assembled alphas nodded approvingly. What had started as an emergency response to Helena's experiments had evolved into something revolutionary, a genuine bridge between species that neither side had thought possible. After the formal session ended, Maya found herself on the balcony overlooking the territory's capital city. The view still took her breath away. A thriving community where children played together regardless of whether their parents had 2 legs or 4, where shops and restaurants catered to both human and shifter needs, where fear had been replaced by curiosity and cooperation. "Regrets?" Rex asked, joining her at the railing. His approach was silent, despite his size, a skill that had returned along with much of his vision. About which part? Giving up my simple life? Becoming royalty? Or bonding myself permanently to a stubborn alpha king who still thinks he needs to protect me from everything? Rex's mouth curved in the smile Maya loved most, the private one reserved just for her. All of the above. Maya leaned against his side, feeling the familiar warmth and electrical connection that had only grown stronger with time. Not for a second. Though I do miss the simplicity of just caring for injured animals. Hence the Sanctuary Project. Maya nodded, excitement building in her chest. Tomorrow they would break ground on the new facility. Officially an animal rehabilitation center, but designed to serve as a safe haven and training ground for young shifters who needed guidance controlling their abilities. "Cole thinks we're crazy for taking on another major project," Maya said. "Cole thinks we're crazy in general. He's not entirely wrong." They stood in comfortable silence, watching the sun set over their shared domain. Maya still marveled at how natural this felt. Not the public ceremonies or political negotiations, but the quiet moments when they could simply be Rex and Maya, mates who had found each other against impossible odds. The Blackwood Pack sent another request, Rex mentioned casually. Maya raised an eyebrow. "The third one this month?" "They're persistent. Alpha Marcus is convinced that Luna Queens hold the secret to expanding shifter lifespans." "Luna Queens? Or specifically this Luna Queen?" Rex's arm tightened around her waist. "You're still the only confirmed human shifter mate bond in recorded history. Other territories are curious." Maya sighed. Even 8 months later, she remained something of a scientific miracle to the shifter world. Researchers wanted to study her. Other packs wanted to meet her. And everyone wanted to understand how the bonding process worked. "We could visit," Maya suggested. "Answer their questions. See how their communities are structured. It might help with our integration programs. As long as you remember that you're not a laboratory specimen." Maya turned in Rex's arms, looking up at his face. The scars around his eyes had faded, but remained visible. Reminders of what they'd survived together. "I remember. But I also remember that sharing knowledge helps people. And if what we've learned can help other mixed couples..." Rex's expression softened. Despite his protective instincts, he understood Maya's drive to help others. It was one of the things he loved most about her. "We'll discuss it with Cole. Plan a diplomatic tour, maybe next spring." A knock at the balcony door interrupted them. Cole appeared, looking unusually formal. "Sorry to interrupt, but we have visitors. The European Council has sent representatives. They're requesting an audience with both of you." Maya and Rex exchanged glances. The European Shifter Council had been notably absent from communications since Helena's defeat, despite the international implications of her research. "How many representatives?" Rex asked, already shifting into his political mode. 3, including Councillor Laurent from the French territories. "They seem impressed by your integration successes." Maya felt a familiar flutter of nerves. Political meetings with other shifter leaders always carried the potential for conflict, especially when they involved her unique status. "Give us 10 minutes, Rex said. "Full formal protocol?" Cole nodded. They specifically requested to meet the Luna Queen who changed the paradigm of human-shifter relations. Their words, not mine. After Cole left, Maya took a deep breath. "Ready for another round of diplomatic theater?" Rex cupped her face in his hands, his partially restored vision allowing him to see her expression clearly. "With you, I'm ready for anything." As they prepared to meet the European delegation, Maya reflected on the journey that had brought them here. From a dying wolf in a thunderstorm to Luna Queen of integrated territories, it seemed impossible, yet every step had felt inevitable. "Rex," she said as they headed inside, "whatever they want, whatever they're proposing, we decide together, right? Always." He replied without hesitation. "We're partners, Maya, in everything." As they walked toward the council chambers, Maya felt the mate bond humming with shared determination. They had built something unprecedented together, not just their relationship, but an entire new model for how two species could coexist. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them as they had faced everything else. Together, equal, and utterly committed to each other and the world they were creating. The European delegation was waiting, but Maya no longer felt intimidated by such meetings. She was Luna Queen Maya Carter, mate to Alpha King Rex Stone, and together they were rewriting the rules of what was possible. The dying wolf she had saved in a thunderstorm had indeed turned out to be an Alpha King, but more than that, he had turned out to be her perfect match, her greatest love, and her partner in building a better world for everyone. As they entered the chamber to meet their new challenges, Maya smiled. She had finally found where she belonged. The world of shifters and fated mates is vast and full of untold stories. Powerful alphas are still searching for their destined partners. Humans are discovering extraordinary abilities they never knew they possessed, and supernatural bonds are forming in the most unexpected places. If passionate paranormal romance is what you crave, we have an entire collection waiting for you. Tales of rejected mates finding redemption, blind alphas discovering love, and forbidden bonds that change everything. Subscribe to join our supernatural family and never miss these emotional journeys. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Your support means everything to our storytelling community. Thank you for spending this time with us tonight. Another incredible adventure awaits in our next tale.